Alrighty, is that time of the update again. We are getting a 2 times Planar Fissure drop rate. Y'all know what that means. 2 times the drops, 2 times the dog shit. So by the time you're seeing this is already out on both Asia and Europe servers, and there is about 2 hours till it drops on NA. I'm having this now so people in Europe and Asia can see this now and see what they need, and for anyone that is still up in NA to see this right before the event. Anyway, so just like my other guides, I'm going to be going over the optimal ways you want to farm this so you can make that trash you're probably going to get a little more on the optimal side. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Before I get to the video, drop a like, drop a sub, hit the bell icon for more videos like this. Remember to join the Discord, link in the description below. I don't really advertise my Discord. Thought I might as well because I'm pretty active in there, so if you want to see me probably being toxic because I love being toxic, make sure to join. And yeah, let's get straight into the video. Alright, so the best world you can farm is World 2 because it's absolutely no value, so just avoid doing this event so you don't get depressed. Nah, I'm playing. Anyways, let's talk about World 3 first. I don't highly advise doing this world, just because for the most part, Space Sailing Station is practically a staple on any DPS, just because it's a nice slot in, but usually it always isn't the best option. Something like the other ones that we do have for offensive characters, or DPS I should say. Usually this is just like a filler if you do have better pieces from early times in the game. You don't really go out your way to farm this. But the thing is, Ageless, it usually was like a slot in because something like Broken Keel is usually better. But now with other characters that do sort of like giving attack, and a lot of characters that are starting to like attack more than something like your general crit stuff on DPSs, overall Ageless is seeming to be increasing in value as the game progresses. But again, I really wouldn't go out your way to farm this world. If you don't really have anything else you need, then it's not a bad idea because again, Space Sailing Station, you can get some pieces for future DPSs just laying around. And then for Aegis, a lot of characters are starting to benefit from this. We have current characters like Doc characters, love getting the Aegis bonuses from their support. So if you're having someone like Wofu giving her this, so your Doc characters do get more attack percent. It is very nice. But again, I wouldn't recommend this too much, but at least if you do this world, you do have 2 good options rather than just 1. World 4 I also do not necessarily recommend because this break effect set, while it is good on someone like Jue, it's going to be really good on BOOTHILL. It's his best in slot. I want to say it's going to be good for the character Firefly that's coming up in 2.3, but we are getting a better one for her, so I only would recommend if you have these laying around to just use it on her, because again, she's going to get a better one, so not anything crazy. And for Von Walk, there are some characters and setups where you can use this, especially if you're some Zero Cycle Crack Fiend, but for most players, this set isn't really the best in slot for anyone, so overall you don't really have to worry about getting this because the energy regeneration rate gives isn't so bad, but it doesn't help you have any like break points when it comes to energy regeneration rate. And then again, this one's only really good on like 2 to 3 characters anyways, so overall I would not recommend doing World 4. As for World 5, this is probably the planet I recommend doing the least because this effect hit rate one isn't bad, but anyone that can use this does have a pretty good other option, especially with substats. But it is, I'm not saying it's not anyone's best in slot, it is still really good, but mainly because of this set right here. The Celestial set, this set is so bad. You get a 16% crit damage increase, cool. The second effect is terrible. It's just for your first attack, so like, what is this? So it's not like one where you can sort of cope your way to using the other one, where one set is usable and the other one is like copium usable. No, this is where one is usable and the other is downright you get rid of this stuff anytime it is on your account. So World 4 overall I would not recommend. 5, I meant to say 5. World 6 isn't a bad world, but again it is one that you sort of have one-sided unless you are wanting to build your Fire MC or you want to build Jeopard, or you're just looking for better pieces. The Belobog set, besides those 2 characters, this isn't really used on anyone else. Because the effect hit rate helps Jeopard with his freeze, the effect hit rate helps the Fire MC with the taunt, and then the extra defense is nice, but other than those 2, for the most part you're not really going to use this on anyone else. In its Sato though, this is good on a lot of characters, practically the best in slot for every follow-up character. Nice 8% crit rate and a 50% or higher crit rate, which is really easy to get. Ultimate damage increase and follow-up attack damage increase, so this is just a really good set. Anyone that mainly does ult damage or follow-up damage, this is usually their best because it is just a really good set. But again, this is sort of another one where it's like one or the other. It's only more worth it if you, again, are building Jeopard or the Fire MC. Then this world becomes more valuable because you aren't worrying about just one-sided, because for the most part, most people who do this just want a slot off. So overall, would go with caution. World 7. World 7 is probably one of the best options because both sets are actually really good. Riddle Arena is practically the best in slot for anyone that has main damage coming off basic attack or skill, giving 8% crit rate, and it is a bit steep, but 70% crit rate. If you can get that, getting a 20% increase to basic attack or skill damage, and skill damage. So this is just really powerful for someone like Daning, it's best in slot, Jinglu, it's insanely good, etc, etc. This is a really good piece. And Broken Keel is practically the best in slot for most supports in the game. When you are running a support which wants a supportive Planar Ornament on a team with a DPS that does function off crits, this is really good because it gives you 10% effect res, so nice there. And that helps with the second effect where when you do have 30% or higher effect res, which helps you not get CC'd, so that's also a plus right there. The 10% crit damage to your entire team is very, very, very nice. So again, World 7 is probably one of the highest priorities because, again, both these sets are really, really good. World 8 is also a really, really good world to choose because Glamoth is very, very, very strong for anyone that can actually get up to 160 speed. It is still the best in slot for some characters that only get the 135 speed because the attack percent it gives for free is nice, and then when you do have 135 speed or higher, you get 12% more damage, and when you do have 160, you get 18% more damage. So anyone that gets to 160 speed relatively easy benefits a ton from this set. Is usually the best in slot because it's just very, very nice. Damage dealt, attack percent, very nice. And some characters that do get to 135 speed, it still is the best in slot somehow. So Glamoth is very good, and Penacony is also a very, very good set if you are pairing a support with a same type damage dealer. For example, using Sparkle with someone like Zele is fantastic because you're giving your Sparkle some energy regeneration rate, and now you're giving Zele 10% more damage to your entire team that's the same type actually, but usually it's one hyper carry. So this is mainly super powerful on something like Mono Quantum because you're running 4 Quantum characters. So you usually take Zele or QQ with their DPS build, and then you usually take Silverwolf, Sparkle, Fushwan. You put this on every single one of them, and this actually does stack, so each of them get their own 5% energy regeneration rate. And this 10% for damage actually stacks, so your main DPS and your just entire team is getting a 30% damage increase. So if you are doing something like Mono Quantum, or you're doing something like pairing Bronya with Blade, or pairing someone like Ruan Mei with Jinglu, something along those lines are usually when this set is really good. And so if you do fall into categories where Penacony is useful, and then again Glamoth is just very powerful overall, then World 8 becomes extremely valuable as well. Now as for World 9, this really depends on you. Depending on what you want and how you feel about this stuff, this world can be insanely valuable or incredibly whatever. So first talking about this set, which is usually only used in Pure Fiction. This Relic set giving you 4% crit rate, and anytime a target gets defeated, giving you 4% crit damage stacking up to 10 times, giving you up to 40% crit damage, which is really, really, really good. But for the most part, you only get the full value in something like Pure Fiction, so putting this on someone like your Himiko, your Herda, or literally just anyone that's good in Pure Fiction that is your DPS, because it's very, very easy to stack this up in Pure Fiction because they just rapid fire enemies at you. This is a really, really strong set to do. So if you do care about some stuff like that, kind of like min-maxing, because it does become the best in there because it gives you the best value on a Planar Ornament. So if you do care about stuff like that, then this is really good because, again, only really used in Pure Fiction. If you don't, then less value, sadly, but yeah. And then for the Izumo set, this set is pretty fire, but sadly a bit niche right now because mainly this is just used on Acheron. Giving you the 12% attack is nice, and then when anyone on the team follows the same path as the wearer's crit rate increases by 12%. For the most part, this again is only used on Acheron at the moment, and the only other case where this is used if you are running this on your Dr. Ratio or Topaz or both, because you usually run them on the same team, and since Topaz and Ratio are both on the path of Hunt, they're on the same team, so they actually fit the bonus. So for the most part, out of those two scenarios, I can't really think of any other time you'd really use this. So if you are falling into those two categories and you want better pieces than that, so if you are someone that wants to benefit from getting more stats in Pure Fiction and has an Acheron or Topaz Ratio that wants to fall on this build, then this world becomes really valuable. And if you don't for both or one, then the world significantly decreases in value. And yeah, that is practically it. The moral of this is you really want to prioritize one of the worlds that do have 2 Planar Ornaments that is very beneficial. So something like World 7 is a very, very good option. World 8 is another fantastic option. World 9 is situationally fantastic or situationally mediocre. And if you don't want any of those, then it really becomes 50-50. Like, this one's only good if you are wanting to build Fire MC and Jeopard, like I said. Inertial Slaughter is fantastic. Something like World 5 definitely would not recommend, because this one, while this one's fine, this one is absolutely garbage. Then there's something like World 4, as I mentioned, where this is best in slot for very few characters. And this one, not the best in slot for anyone, but can help enable some funny strats. And then World 3, again, I don't really recommend doing this, because again, Space Sailing Station is outdone by stuff like Glamoth and other stuff like Rudal Arena, Inertial Slaughter, for depending on the character. And then Ageless, for the most part, most DPS in the game don't use Ageless too much, except on Dot. Or if you're running it on someone like Robin, who actually benefits from the attack percent herself as well. But outside of that, Ageless usually whatever, and you're better off with Broken Keel, because Broken Keel has the technical better world anyways. But again, overall, it just depends on you. Moral of the story, prioritize the ones that have 2 good relic sets for your account. Let me know what world you're going to be farming, because personally, I'm probably going to farm World 7 because I do need better Rooted Beta pieces and I would like more broken keels. Outside of that, I might do some of World 6 because I need better NSL slaughter pieces. But besides those 2, I can't really see me doing anything else because most of the stuff I want is like it's like a 50-50 because one relic's good, the other one sucks. So, probably just gonna do World 6 and World 7. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. Hope you guys found the guide helpful. Peace out.